you get a lot of people that come through that are professional workshop attenders. They just for their work or different things. And over and over again, people say this is literally one of the best workshops we've been to. The best, I mean, from the way it runs to the way that the staff and the team and the trainers and Cesar, it's amazing how complimentary people have been over the years. And it's not just one thing and it's not just one person. I mean, it is such a pack effort. And that's the thing that's so weird about us as trainers. The joke is the only thing two trainers can agree on is the third one's wrong. But this is a literal group of 20 people that are dead equal in their mindset with each other. Nobody's trying to outdo anybody. Nobody's trying to one up. And you feel that as a student. It's a tangible feeling that they get. We're like lifting them up.
Yeah.
And you're the one that it's always obvious that you're the one that's leading it, Cesar. It's obvious it's coming from you down. So it's a top-down effect.
Life is definitely simple. We make it complicated. So my goal in life right now is to make sure that I share my wisdom to the next generation. Good morning, world. Finally, Better Human, Better Planet podcast about TCW. One of the projects in my life that I love the most, because we absolutely do exactly what we're saying: better human, better planet. And to accomplish that, I have to have my own human pack that helps me. And we're going to talk about what TCW is all about: Fundamentals 1, Fundamentals 2, soon Fundamentals 3. But it's all about, for me, it's about energy, philosophy, actions. And of course, I need my pack to make sure everybody understands in a very beautiful, structured, clean way what we talk about, so their energy can be effective, their philosophy of life can be amazing, and the actions can be super clear. So I'm going to introduce you to some of my team that helps me change the world. We have been doing it for how long, guys?
10 years.
Doing this.
11 years.
How long?
11 years.
11 years. That's how long. JoJo, that's how long I know you?
Yeah.
This is JoJo. Can you introduce yourself, JoJo, please?
Hello, I'm JoJo. I've been working with TCW for 11 years. First time as a student in 2009.
And what is your Instagram?
My Instagram is Joe and Jack Dog Psychology.
There you go. What about Art right here, since we're going in that direction? Not that there's anything, different.
Hi, my name's Art Ortiz. I'm based out of Dallas, Texas. I own Dogfit Dallas. I was also a student at Training Cesar's Way, which changed my life dramatically. And I know a lot of times people may get turned away by the price, but the blessings that I've received from attending and making it happen is way more than I could ever count. So obviously, thank you, Cesar. And so, yeah, I also started in April of 2013 as a student as well.
So that's 11 years.
Yep.
Oh, I said 2009. I meant 2013.
No, I went in April of 2013. JoJo went in December 2013.
Yep.
Wow, that's amazing how you remember the dates. I'm terrible. Yeah. And the last one on my right, Mr. Todd.
Good morning. I've been with you 10 years. So I was October 2014. I'm in Orlando, Florida, and just like these guys, what's awesome from where we sit is the transformation. Now, I didn't get to go through it as a student. I audited once, which is you're kind of there, but not really. You can't really say or do anything. Mm-hmm. But the transformation, what you see people go through, and I think it even surprises the people. They sit in on the dinner Wednesday night and they hear it. They hear you say words and we talk these things, but it's not until Sunday that the impact of it becomes real. And then they start using the words and they start using all the same vocabulary, and you can tell everybody feels it. So it's been awesome to be with a team for so long. Right. Everybody's been there, I think a minimum. I'm the shortest at just under 10 years. You guys, Steve, and everybody's been there forever. Yoa and I went in at the same time. So that's the match. Yeah. Huh.
Fantastic. Well, this is some of it. How do we know how many are we?
What's that? How many events we've done?
How many people, the community. So when people come here, I tell them about is the land, the DPC, TCW is the philosophy, and then is the community. How many people do we have right now?
The blue shirts or the blue and red?
Well, and then we talk about the difference.
Blue, I think we have 7 or 8.
Sounds right. Yeah,
7 or 8.
And
what does it mean to the world, a blue shirt?
So the blue shirts are the trainers. So basically at TCW, each person that's a trainer, like myself, JoJo, and Todd, we're responsible for a group, with the exception of Todd because he's kind of like the head trainer. And so basically, there's a group of 9, I believe, students that are paired with a certain trainer. So that trainer will be their mentor going throughout the whole program. And so it's kind of a good way that the students can rely on one person. So you allow us to be in a leadership role, and we are responsible for our own little pack. And so we create a little pack within the pack. So we got the little packs, and then we got the big pack. And so we're the trainers, and we kind of split off, and we kind of talk about like what we're going to be doing throughout the day. We do leash drills and things like that. So we're just the trainers for the certain amount of students that attend.
Right.
You know, I think basically they take your philosophy and make it real for the students. They put their hands on it, you know, so they take your words and then they add the physical action of what that means, the interpretation. And then the trainers get to really help them understand what it means to go through it. I think that's the thing when people first show up, a lot of people are focused on the technique, the tools we're going to be using, and then they quickly realize through the trainers that we're all here to share your philosophy. We all understand that. We're going to help you get to the same level of being able to understand it through your own personal interpretation, which is, I guess, what these guys do so well.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm more of a production role at this point. You know, I'm moving the pieces around for you, but I get to see everybody. So I have a unique standpoint. I'm not just seeing Art's team or JoJo's team. I get to see not only the students, but I get to see the way every trainer interacts with the students too, which is cool. I learned so much by watching all of you guys and listening to the way that you deliver the message. So it's a real cool spot to sit from.
What do you like about it, JoJo?
I like the aspect that Todd was talking about, where we take, because you're on stage and you're talking about the philosophy, you're giving everybody the basics, and then we get to help them put it into action. And I love seeing the process of people taking that information intellectually and putting it into action, where they get to see results and the light up on their face when what they just put into action got them the result that they were looking for, or the dog was feeling better or calmer or less reactive or whatever it is, or is following them. Just being able to see the transformation on these people's faces when what they just learned, they did it and it worked, and they get to have that like moment where it all came together. And that's like my favorite part, and I get to see it over and over.
That's right. That is definitely my addiction. My addiction is to help people change their energy, their philosophy, their actions. You know, create a community based on family traditions, right? You know, based on family traditions, based on honor, based on respect, based on love, based on creativity. The goal is to help people to go back to their natural, simple, profound, you know, to really go back into their spirituality, their instincts, to learn to love the right thing, which is your spirituality, your instincts, of course, your creativity. That's something to love before you love outside, right? That has been my biggest focus. How do I help people, better human, better planet?
So that's a great point that we go over in TCW. What does it mean to go from a physical to a psychological surrender versus a psychological to a physical surrender, and understanding how to move that energy around and know what direction to start from? That's you know, that's what you've taught us to teach them.
Yeah,
is
the noble silence part, the noble silence, that, you know, in the dog world, silence is not like a tool, right? Is sound is a big tool. Hey, is a tool. Is in and as we know, is not a worldwide thing that people practice, because I grew up in Mexico and said no touch, no talk, no eye contact. So we use no sound. We use just the scent unconsciously, the sight, and claiming the space, and very little sound at the end if we want to. It was optional, right? But the noble silence part and the calmness, that's definitely one of what makes TCW different, right? Because we focus on connecting to spirit, we focus on connecting to animal, and then we focus on the heart, and then we focus on the mind, right? So unless we have the trust to the spirit, the respect to the instincts, when we give love, we're not doing it to trust and respect. That's my way of looking at it, and that's why I teach people, and that's what I want people to teach other people, because I know it works. I know that is something that in yoga they always talk about it, and rehabilitation and healing. And anytime that you try to heal yourself, they're always mentioning the part of calm surrender to your negative energy, to your negative thoughts, and to your bad habits. So if it works for us, of course it's going to work for an animal. It's just people with dogs do not think that silence is a tool or calmness is a tool.
Cesar, from where you sit, you have a unique perspective of everybody, right? You have your hands on everybody during the pack walk. You're up on stage looking down at everybody the whole time. What part of the energy do you think the students struggle with the most? Is it the spiritual, the instinctual? What do you see as the biggest struggle?
I think the way we hear, when I talk to Don Miguel Ruiz, the four agreements, and I asked that question. So why we humans don't focus on happiness, health, love, and creativity? Why we don't do that? Because when we're kids, that's all we want. We want to be happy, healthy, loving, and create something. And if our parents are around, we want to follow, play, explore with them, right? And so we start receiving information that forms our belief system. Right. So now now people learn, dogs need to be trained. So that becomes their belief system. So they want to go after the mind. They say, no. To train the mind, you have to connect first with the spirit, then the instinct, then the heart. And that's why I put trust, respect, love. Right. So once you have that, now you have an animal willing to follow you. Now, anything that is new, you can teach. But everything that is old, you must connect. But I do get to know myself as I teach people, because in reality, what I want is better humans, better planets. It's something that drives me every day, every single day, to do a show, to do a live show, to do TCW, to do a podcast. It's not about the money, fame, and power. That comes on its own, right? It's really about the mission. Our being a father, young father now, right? Is like, yep, I want my kid to grow up in a world where it's about natural, simple, profound, right? It's about trust, respect, love. We want him to be safe, peace, and love. We want them.
When I did Fundamentals 1 as a student, I had just been divorced a year. I had just started my business the year before. And so I went there because I wanted to learn about dogs. But what I left with after leaving Fundamentals 1 is I learned way more about myself. And when I was able to learn about myself, that carried over into be open and available, open-minded, so to speak, to take in information, to be eventually a better husband, a better father. And so, like when I talk about earlier, like the cost of what it was, like I've received way more blessings because of that, even to this day, because of what I experienced at that moment as a student. And so I think people may get turned off by the price, but I'm telling you, I by the way, I couldn't afford it. Like I made it happen. I was determined to get there. And I think, like I said, I didn't have any money. And I know a lot of people may be, I can never afford it. But if you really want to make it, you can make it happen. And I made it happen through friends of mine that helped me out. I even took out a loan to make it happen. And like I said, I didn't have anything. I literally had $32 in my bank account probably when I signed up.
I put mine on a credit card.
Yeah. And so, but now I've received way more because I learned more about myself because of Fundamentals 1. And when I was able to learn more about myself, and I was able to really connect at a deep level with not only dogs, but my community and my family, and maybe, my future family, which is my wife and my two boys.
Yeah.
Well, it's not an investment in dogs. It's an investment in yourself.
Right.
So there's it's expensive for some people, but I would imagine if we were to go and poll the majority of the students, I don't think any of them would be disappointed that
I was worth it. I saw myself as I was worth it.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. And there's something about doing it in person that you can get the intellectual knowledge from the podcast or the book or the show or wherever it is. But one thing that I really felt that was worth it and why I wanted to go do it in person was because intellectually you can't feel the energy. Mm-hmm. And when you come in I was like, I took in all the information like a sponge, and I got books, and I was taking in everything I possibly could, but I couldn't feel the energy. I said, I need to go to this place in person and feel what that energy that he's talking about feels like. And so the ranch especially is just a place that encapsulates that energy, because everybody is in agreement, like you were saying. Everybody is on the same page. Everybody knows the knowledge intellectually, and the feeling is overwhelming. Like when you take an insecure dog and you surround him with the pack, it's the same kind of thing with the people when they come here. They're surrounded by the energy and they can't help but be influenced by it.
Right.
And that's part of why I always come back every time.
Yeah.
Like, because I love just being surrounded by that energy as often as possible, because it influences me. And so I think that's one of the benefits of having this particular experience, rather than just the intellectual experience that you can take in every other platform.
It's good for our soul.
I'm gonna share. Thank you. I'm gonna share something that I didn't even thought about it. You know, because I'm always like, I always tell Steve, hey, let's go to, you know, Steve is another guy from TCW. Let's go to Vegas so we can gamble. He's like, no, I'd rather gamble something else, which is that, right? You're gambling your fate on you. Right. So when I came to America, I didn't have money to come. I just had $100 and literally I have no place to go. So I'm gambling my life. So when you have an opportunity, somebody loan you money, you're ahead of the game. Right. You're ahead of the game. That's a blessing on its own. And just make sure that you count that blessing. And because when Jada helped me with an English teacher so I can learn English, I'm still thanking her. You see it? So when you do things that looks like a sacrifice, it looks like a gamble in your life, it looks like feels like life and death, that is a good thing. That is a good thing, because you're going to put all the energy and all your mighty might and all your actions to pay it back. And that's exactly what we're here for. We're here to pay it forward. We are here to challenge ourselves to things that are impossible to make it possible. You can call it a miracle. You can call it creativity. You can call it attraction, the law of attraction. But guess what? You have to do it, right? So the people with no money are more likely to create miracles than the people with money, because they already got the money. You don't have to worry. You don't have to use your faith. You don't have to use your instincts. You don't have to use your passion, your creativity. You can just say, I will pay it in a month. Right? So it's just your mind working to pay it back. But when you do it the way you guys have done it, and the way I have done it, is the spirit comes out. I believe in myself. I'm a hardworking guy. I'm going to make it happen. I'm very passionate about what I want, and I'm very creative. So I get to turn on the four worlds, which is exactly on TCW what we talk about. Well, so I think the TCW, besides challenging your fate, it also challenges your instincts. It also challenges your passion. It also challenges your creativity, because that's really what I want you to turn on from you, right? So if I can do it, and I was not an American citizen, and then I can make a difference in the world. I can make a difference in my world. I can make a difference in my family's world. I think we can all do it, you know, because we all have, especially people without money, have what I have. The only thing is I was fearless. That's it. I'd rather jump the border and come and accomplish my dream, but obviously turn the other, you know, in a different direction. But that was the intention. I was coming to learn from America how to train dogs. And then I realized that I was coming to get to know myself in America, to get to understand self-value, you know, and then self-love, self-knowledge, self-value, self-love. And then I learned that I can give this to people. And of course, we have to charge, because America, nothing is free. The land of the free, nothing is free. That's not truth. You know, that's not true, but it sounds beautiful. But it doesn't matter. I like to participate paying taxes now. You know?
Well, I think one of the things that people should know also, because there's a lot of life-changing moments that happen throughout TCW, and I can share from experience on my own. It was a pack walk when I did the pack walk with you, Cesar. I don't know if you remember that. And so It almost didn't happen, by the way, because it wasn't as organized then as it is now, because we really organized TCW, but it was a free-for-all. Everyone was like, who wants to walk with Cesar? And of course, everyone wants to walk. And so my opportunity, I was like, oh, I walk dogs every day. You know, it was me being insecure about walking with you, Cesar, more than anything. Yeah. And so I was asked to go up and walk with you, and I grabbed the pack. And then immediately when I grabbed the pack, the dog started to go in front of me. And you're like, hey, stop. And you said, why do you doubt yourself? And I was like, man, how do you know that? Because the dogs told you that I doubted myself. And you said, just be confident. You can do great. I don't know exactly what you said, but it was something along the lines of like, you can do great things. And those words meant a lot to me. And I said, all right. And I took a deep breath and I walked, and boom, they just went behind me. And that was a life-changing moment for me, because that allowed me to be confident and go into things that I may be insecure about, but also build confidence through the moment, you know.
That's it. The moment of uncertainty.
People that are wanting to go, everybody gets a chance to pack walk with Cesar, just like Art's talking about, a big pack. So Cesar, you get up and close with them. Do you feel right away? I mean, right away, are you feeling the human or watching the dogs? And are you always feeling it?
You know why? Because if you tell me is this, I have to give you the benefit of the doubt. But when I'm looking at the dog, it's no benefit of the doubt. It is what it is. You see it? So I don't question myself when I see a person with a dog. It's just what it is, right? But if you tell me whatever thing is like out of respect, kindness, empathy, whatever to you, I will say maybe. And at that moment, I will stop my certainty about me assessing, evaluating my moment with you, right?
You also thought I was high, by the way.
I know, because I was just low. It's like, is this guy high walking the pack or what? This is not right. And but apparently he wasn't. But that was, it's just his energy was very passive. You know, talk about silence. But he was just walking and no even calmness. He just went to silence. Yeah. So I don't know how he turned it off, but he created a silence, and it's almost like he was floating. You know what I mean? So the dogs went in front of him, right? And then I ask a question, and then I hear the voice, and that's why he's doubting himself. So hey, and as soon as he did that, boom, everything aligned, right? So that's definitely I look at as we all know. Just look at the animals tell you the truth. The human tells you the story. Reality.
JoJo, your pack walk was like that too. I remember your pack walk.
Yeah, I was tense, and I think there were like 12 dogs in the pack, and it was all the old dog whisperer dogs, and it was December, so it was freezing cold. It was still the coldest workshop I can remember. So aside from just being cold, I was tense, and my own dog was in the pack, and I was nervous to be doing it in front of you and all of this stuff. So I have a picture of you holding your hands out like this, your arms out like that, because that's what the pack did. They just all wanted to get away from me.
That's right.
So, yeah, I was very tense, and mostly because I was cold and nervous, and you know, it took me a long time to get over the nerves.
Yeah.
And I still have them every so often, because I got into this business from watching Dog Whisperer. And so to be on the show that inspired me to be in the business is like huge. And now I'm getting emotional.
Yeah, no, yay! Finally, JoJo get to tear up a little bit.
I've always, anytime we talk about this stuff, over the years have always kind of gotten emotional, but I would shut it down.
Yeah.
And now I just let it go.
Let it out. You're in a safe spot with the safe pack, and that's what TCW is all about, right?
Yeah.
It's to feel safe, to have the peace, and to feel the love and the support. You know, that I want people to embody. I want people to be as good as animals are, right? So we're a human species, and just the fact that we don't teach our children, the right knowledge is going to create unhappiness, and unhappiness is going to create chaos. So confusion is what we allow people to live in, you know, and then too many times is confusion, like a dog. If a dog is confused, too many days of confusion, he's gonna get unhappy. Too many days of unhappiness, he's gonna get chaotic, and then that's what they come to you guys with a fight flight avoidance outcome, right? But the goal is to prevent. The goal for me, TCW and everything we do, every TV show is that I do, or yeah, social media, everything is about education, entertainment, because it's important, and enlightenment, right? So those three things are something that are super important to me. Entertainment, I'm not interested in just entertaining people. I don't waste my time just entertaining people or entertaining myself. If I see it as like, what is this about? And if it's no education and no enlightenment, I scroll. I just move out of there, because it's so easy to get caught up in the moment of watching the wrong thing, hearing the wrong thing, feeling the wrong thing. You follow what I mean? It's a simple example, but there's a lot of people doing absorbing the wrong energy, hearing the wrong words, seeing the wrong actions, and the goal is, hey, if you want to live chaotic, do it at a certain time, but with a dog or your children or your grandparents or like people that you really, really love, and then just do this energy. It will be better for them. You know what I mean?
I was told a long time ago when I first met you, when we first started working together, that somebody said, if you enlighten him, make him laugh, or talk about food, you'll have a good conversation with Cesar. To the point of like, if I'm not being enlightened, just scrolling down.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm interested to know this because I get asked this a lot and so I'm curious about your three opinions. You know, for the TCW, you have the option to bring a dog. So, you know, people can bring their own dog, their own problem. Uh, but I'm always asked if it's better to come with a dog, your own dog, or without a dog. Because we have in the last few years made it to where we do our best to make dogs available through rescues. You know, so that's something that's improved over the last few years. So what do you guys think? Do you think it's better for them to show up and handle a dog that's not theirs, or to bring the trouble that they have?
I'll go first because I know I didn't start with a dog. I know JoJo did. But I didn't bring a dog, and I decided not to because I really wanted to experience it away from my dogs. I think we have a little bit of emotional connection to our dogs that it kind of may hinder us. We get kind of blindsided by what our dog is doing as opposed to really taking in the information. And that was my take when I took it. I decided not to bring my dogs. I had three, so I couldn't bring all three.
Yeah, and I brought my dog to ours, and partly because I had a couple issues with him that I was working on, and they used to do classes at the ranch. And so I started in March of 2013 with the classes, and I took 2 of them. And the trainer recommended that I do the workshop, and I was like, I can't afford it. I can't afford it. And she was like, you should do it. You should do it. Because he was a pit bull, and he was quiet but not calm, and he had learned some things from other dogs that I was still kind of young in my dog handling days, and my first dog was a pit bull. and you know, when he around 2 years old, he developed a prey drive. My roommates had cats, and then all of a sudden he started going after cats, and it was all this stuff. And so we were working on those things in the classes. So I brought him to the workshop, and we ended up being on stage like through the whole workshop.
Yeah, the way you started the workshop was insane. Like
the start of the workshop it's still you know, it's still a workshop that we all talk about still, because you know
Was that the llama one? Was that where the dog chased the llama?
No, that was a different one.
It was with the horse, Conky.
It was Conquistador was still at the ranch, and he, you know, the first time we had gone to the ranch, he didn't care about the farm animals, but one of the other dogs in class was lunging at the farm animals, and he learned that. And so our second class, he started lunging and I was like, what the hell? It was just one of those dogs that he would see another dog do it, and he just would start doing it. And I didn't have the practice enough to like nip it in the bud right in the beginning. So that was what I needed to learn. And also, you know, I was tense around Cesar and tense with my dog, so I needed to learn how to feel the energy of calmness. So I felt like it was important for me to have my dog there. I did learn a lot, partly because we did so much. We got a lot of attention, and we were on stage a lot, and we worked on just about every issue with my dog, and it was amazing. And at the end, I was walking Lorenzo, and my dog was off leash next to me, and Junior was there, and he looked just like Junior, so it was like twin dogs in the ring, and he was off leash and he wasn't going towards anybody. And when we were done with that exercise, we got out of the round pen that we were in,
Right.
and my dog was off leash, happy as could be, just happy-go-lucky, wandering around through all of these dogs and all these people, and it was the happiest I had ever seen him in my entire life. And the whole rest of his life, I'm getting emotional again.
Yeah, come on, JoJo. That's what happens in TCW. This is what happens in
This is a trainer doing it, man. She's crying.
Yeah.
Imagine if you're a student.
The whole rest of his life, that was my goal, was to make him as happy as he was in that moment.
That's it.
For the whole rest of his life, that was my goal.
There you go. That's TCW 101 right there. Because that is inside, right? So,
yeah.
You know, you never know. The last time I was sitting here talking about Brunello, and I started crying in the middle of talking about. So, what do you think about Brunello? It comes out. It needs to come out. You know, it needs to come out. So to answer that, in my humble suggestion to people is, way before you get a dog, learn about dogs, right? That's number one. That's that way you learn to prevent. If you are too emotional about what's happening to your dog, I suggest not to bring him, right? I suggest not to bring him. Somehow we find a way to send a trainer or to help you with your dog 101. But when you meet new dogs, you get to meet dogs, you don't know their name, you don't know their background. Sometimes we don't know the breed. And so we teach you to focus more on assessing and evaluating what kind of energy that dog is, so you can begin to learn to put a leash, so you can learn to introduce yourself, right? So it's 3 things that you have to master: introducing yourself, walking with a dog, feeding the dog. Those 3 activities have to be very perfect, right? You have to meet in the first time, calm. The dog has to be calm, surrender. Walking, calm, surrender. Feeding, calm, surrender. Those 3 things are super important. And when it's your dog, even when we say those things, it doesn't compute in the mind, because people go into the heart. So they go back to what they know. But when it's a new dog, you actually do what you just learned. So that way, you know, it can work for like what happened to JoJo, or or if you just want to be less tense learning, just come on without a dog, and we'll provide a dog, a llama, a chicken, something. We'll bring it out, right? Because we all know now, okay, this person is tense. Okay, this person is insecure. Or this person wants to throw the towel, right? We know that human is fight, flight, avoidance. And our goal is to make that human calm, surrender, right? And then they go to happy-go-lucky, and then they go to calm, confident. And that's it. That's all our job is all about. But sometimes when a person is going through the fight, flight, avoidance, they have to get angry. They have to, all this part they haven't done, you know. And now they feel safe. And then we ask him, okay, now walk the dog. Now that you're in that energy. And that's exactly what happened to Joe. I want to have this state of mind for the rest of his life. And then you declare. You see it? That's when your mission becomes real, when you declare with knowing. When you know this is what you want, and you know how to do it now, and it's just a matter of you go and just repeat it every single day of life until it becomes a habit. How can we describe TCW, guys, to the world? How do we describe it to the whole world, and how many days, right? So people are very clear.
It's 4.5 days. So you have a Wednesday evening dinner, which is where everybody learns about what's about to happen, and you get to meet your trainers, and you get to meet the other students. And then it's 4 full days following that. And it's a full day. I mean, it's a 8 to 5 day. We start with a pack walk. It's a combination of hands-on and classroom time. And we throw in demos that you're doing so people understand that you're there the whole day. You are part of this program the whole day. So when there's any classroom time, it's being led by Cesar. This is a little bit of PowerPoint, lots of hands-on demos on stage, treadmill. We've made it. It's actually, we use this word transformation. I think in the last 2 or 3 years, it's the best it's been for the student experience, because we break off with your trainer several times a day so that after you teach us a lesson on stage, they can go out and practice elements of that lesson hands-on. So they're hearing it, they're doing it. They're hearing it, they're doing it. They're hearing it, they're doing it. And not to mention the food is fucking awesome. I mean, the food itself is something to talk about. And so that's, to me, how I would, describe it to somebody.
What about you? How would you describe it?
From, just kind of how Todd did, but I think there's also exercises that the students will go through. So we kind of like move the students around in like stations, so to speak. And there's a demonstration or an exercise that we do, like sheep herding. So we'll get some of the dogs who wouldn't think are sheep herders. I remember one time there was a pug that did some sheep herding, which is really funny. I had a little cape on it. I don't know why I remember that, but I do because it was really cool. Or a French bulldog. These are typically dogs you wouldn't think that could sheep herd, but they do. Another exercise we do is a dog park exercise, which is probably my favorite because one of the most memorable ones that we do during this is like you'll bring in the dogs based on the energy, and then you start bringing in the farm animals. So we have this dog park with all the animals and some of the dogs, and it's just really cool to see how that balance is all throughout on the dog park. And like Todd said, food is provided. Which is another good thing. And but what I love also is like you teach the whole thing, Cesar. Like you're there from sun up to sundown. And so I think people think that we're actually doing the teaching. We're just there to facilitate, to deliver your message. But you're the deliverer. You're the one sending that message. And so I think that's really important that people know is that you're the one that's there and you really care about the students. Like after the day is over, you meet with us. You're like, what are the students learning? What are they getting? You always ask us these questions, which is very important.
Are they clear? Are they clear? That's the way. Are they clear? Is everybody clear? All right.
And that says a lot about Cesar's leadership, about how much he cares about this experience that the students get at TCW, because honestly, it is one of the best, like I said, the best experience I've been to, but also a lot of people have told us that as well.
You get a lot of people that come through that are professional workshop attenders, they just for their work or different things. And over and over again, people say, this is literally one of the best workshops we've been to. The best, I mean, from the way it runs to the way that the staff and the team and the trainers and Cesar, it's amazing how complimentary people have been over the years. And it's not just one thing and it's not just one person. I mean, it is such a pack effort. And that's the thing that's so weird about us as trainers. The joke is the only thing 2 trainers can agree on is the third one's wrong. But this is a literal group of 20 people that are dead equal in their mindset with each other. Nobody's trying to outdo anybody. Nobody's trying to one up. And you feel that as a student. It's a tangible feeling that they get. We're like lifting them up. Yeah. And you're the one that it's always obvious that you're the one that's leading it, Cesar. It's obvious it's coming from you down. So it's a top-down effect.
Yes. And I want to thank you. Well, JoJo, you want to say something about TCW before we say?
Oh yeah, there's the aspect of it that is just kind of logistically. There's the whole PowerPoint presentation, that there's a really clear curriculum every day where you go from absolute basics from the ground up that has been well thought out and put together in a way that's easy to understand and helps people to understand, so that every day from beginning to end, we're taking them on this journey of the beginning of the understanding and then expanding on it every day. And people go through their own transformations through that experience as well. And then the community of us between the trainers and everybody on the staff who makes things, they make the whole process in the world go round, is that it's this whole movement that goes from beginning to end, where people show up and they're nervous and they don't know what they're doing until the last day, where they have friendships and they're exchanging numbers with each other so that they can continue communicating with each other for the rest of their, like, we have lifelong friendships that have been made at these workshops through this program. So I think it's just this amazing connection. It's like a magnet that connects people together when you have like
Pack.
yeah.
You know what you guys said? You know what you said something, and I think what happens is it feels so safe and everything works so good. Everybody can surrender.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everybody can literally they literally can surrender. They don't have to worry about anything. There's their life on those for those 4 days gets to be put on pause, and they get to open up and surrender based on how safe the team has made this experience for people.
TCW. I mean, I love TCW1, but TCW2 is my favorite. It's my favorite. Huh?
Why? What do you like about it?
I like the action. I'm Mexican.
Oh, yeah, you get to sit and be a part of it, and it's a different type of activity. So Fundamentals 2 is a more applied version of Fundamentals 1. So what we've done is taken your skills, and now we've created scenarios, what we call real life scenarios, for you to navigate. We create a vet's office, coffee shop, things like that, and set it up so that you have to go into it in a real time and work what you've learned in Fundamentals 1. So you have to have gone to Fundamentals 1. My favorite is the garden. When we go into the garden and everybody has to do the different activities, getting the dogs in and out of the kennels and all of that. That is what I like the most, because you see people in their most natural state. They're going to be scared. They're going to be creative. They're going to be tense. They're going to be angry. You're going to see, that's when, to me, that's when you see it go real time. And again, in the morning, I get to walk around and see everybody. So the morning activities are varied. You know, you're working with Cesar and goats. So I believe you're taking the goats and using the energy of the goats and the proximities of the dogs. You know, you can see it where one dog walks up and he's like, nope, I'm staying out in the public zone. And one comes right into intimate space and the different energies. And Art, you do a great pack walk in the morning. Mm-hmm. And JoJo, you're doing leash work, correct?
Yeah, we do leash work.
So why don't you talk about how those activities work in the morning time?
So we do leash work in the mornings, and we add long line and we do short line. And so it's the leash is like communicating to the dog like when you're still gaining relationship and figuring out how to get the dog to follow you and lead and develop your leadership skills and all that. And using a leash is an art form. Right. There's a certain way you can use a leash that can push a dog away, or a way you use the leash that can bring a dog to you and cooperate with you. So just fine-tuning people's leash working skills is an incredible thing for them to learn, because that's like step one. Mm-hmm. And once you get that dog following and you're tapping into your calm confidence, it's where you go from there. Everything else you do with your dog can be tied to that leash experience. Once you've mastered the leash, you can take your dog anywhere and teach them how to feel, because you've already mastered that leash technique. So you can take them into any environment and teach them the way you've set up that foundation. So that's what we teach in the leash work in the morning.
I like people to understand the leash this way. The leash is for guidance, for mm-hmm. stopping, and for parking. Mm-hmm. Right. And so because that's what horses do, right? You guide the horse, you stop the horse, you park the horse. And then the leash means that. And so in reality, that's what you want to be able to do with the dog. Follow me, don't follow me, go back home. Right. And wait for me. So that in a ranch, I come from a ranch, we never put a leash on a dog, but he did those three things. We were able to make them follow us, stop, or let them park and go back home. Or make them wait outside, so he will stay right there and the dog will never go anywhere. But in America, because the dog lives in a very excited state of mind, that dog, by definition or by way of survival, he needs to be guided with something, as we call it, the leash. So the leash is to keep him safe. In order for him to feel peaceful, he needs to understand that to follow, to stop, and to be parked. And so once he understands it that way, in my way of looking at it, that means he understands that leash is for calm surrender always. So once the dog is always calm surrender, you will always be able to introduce him to new things because he feels safe and peaceful. Going to new places, such as restaurants, such as elevators, such as electric stairs, malls, places like New York for a back of the pack dog, that is overwhelming environment. So also people learn about the positions in the pack, right? Because it's important. We don't just learn the breed or the gender of the dog, which for us is irrelevant, in my opinion. For us, it's more relevant to understand, is that dog born to be in the back of the pack, in the middle of the pack, on the front of the pack? And because that's how he's going to learn everything, right? So it's that understanding how do we introduce, how do we connect, we communicate, and we have that relationship with a dog based on the position of the pack and what we want to create between human dog. Follow me, stop, don't move. And that's what the leash is all about, right? In my opinion, because horse people, that's exactly what they do. They just want the horse to follow them, to stop, and to be able to be parked. That's it.
Well, also with fundamentals too, I think it's also important to know about fundamentals too, is each student or each group of students, you're with a trainer, just like in fundamentals 1. However, you switch off between all the trainers in the morning. So when you do a morning exercise, for example, with JoJo, she does leash work, I do a pack walk. And so once they've already gone through JoJo or another exercise, then they come to me in the morning on a certain day during the 4 days. And then we do a pack walk. And so the way we do is, let's say they spent the day before with JoJo doing the leash work, and then they take that leash work and they apply what they learned during the pack walk. And so a lot of what I do is I use a long line with all the dogs, and energetically, because fundamentals 2 is all about energy. We talk about the 4 worlds. We dig into the 4 worlds that we learn in fundamentals 1. Then we apply it. It's a hands-on. You don't bring your dog, by the way. And so we provide the dogs. And the exercise that I do is a pack walk. And so, so during the pack walk that I do in the exercises, I allow them to use a long line, and we energetically move with the dogs. And then at the end, we basically walk together as a pack, and we have the dogs behind us, and we drop the long line, and we create this togetherness, this pack of moving together. And then we'll walk all the way up the hill where it says the Dog Psychology Center. And we walk up, and no one's holding the leashes, and everyone's walking. And
isn't it also silent, Art? Don't you, for that part
yeah.
You make it silent?
Yeah, we just walk. I want people to take it all in. I want people to enjoy the moment, and that in itself is a powerful experience. Yeah, that's something that's something that we provide that I can do this. I can do these things.
Yeah. And another big part of fundamentals too is Michael Burke. And so a big thing that we tap into, as you mentioned, Art, is the 4 worlds. So we take the students through, Michael takes the students through different activities to explore yourself. And this is the most, I think, raw part of either one. Thursday, like Friday afternoon on fundamentals 1, you'll get people that get kind of raw, but it's nothing like fundamentals 2. After a day or two of Michael taking you through things and everything starting to come together and your realizations are happening, my goodness. He is such an integral part of getting people to understand themselves and take the energy lessons and make them real. Without him, a lot of fundamentals 2 it would just be talk. So that's a big part too that we get. And the other thing in fundamentals 1, we meditate. We teach you to meditate. That's something that hasn't been discussed. So
I think this is when people realize that it's all about them, right? Because TCW1 is definitely, it makes sense. It's a good philosophy. Yeah, we break the law. Yeah, I don't follow the principles. Yeah, I wanted to be the pack leader, but I was not doing the first. It's to follow, right? Because I'm saying we lead. We have to master follow. So we have to follow the law and the principles. So then you become, intellectually understanding. But when it's hands-on, it's like, why am I angry? Why am I frustrated? Why do I feel insecure? Why my mom comes into the picture? Why am I? And then all of those things that trigger the wrong energy at the same time is the right thing to do. It comes out. And that's when Michael comes in and says, okay, let's be kind to yourself. Let's learn to come surrender to that part of us, to that negative energy or that negative way of thinking about us. Oh, like, you know what I mean? Because a lot of times you can say, I'm not going to be able to do it, and start, thinking that you're not good enough. And that's a big one. That's one of the
That's one a lot.
That's the one I get to see the most because it happens to me too, right? We all learn to be insecure about our greatness, and because we start thinking, well, why is the person doing it better? Why is the person crying? Or well, no. All these things, there's turmoil that happens until Michael comes in and helps you quiet yourself. Just be kind to yourself and just, what do you like about today, and focus on that. You see what I mean? So you learn to reset yourself. I think without Michael, it would be very, very hard for people to, because with us, it represents action.
Yeah.
To animals outside of us. And with Michael, there's no animals here to work on myself, which is self-reflection is huge. I do a lot of cleaning myself, and that takes work. That takes work. That you're gonna get to see things that you have nothing to do with putting it in you. It comes from your ancestors, or it comes from your parents. And we want, we want humans who understand energy, right? It's level silence, calmness, confidence, love, and joy. That's it. That's all you need. And then, since you want to work with dogs, this is the psychology. And then the actions are this one. That's it. Right? Now go do it with a dog, master it, and then please, then go and do it with humans. Because we need the same. We need the same. We need trust, respect, love. We need to believe. We need to work on something. We need to be passionate about something. We need creativity. We need the pack. We need the family. We need each other. And I think we're doing a great job on training Cesar'S way, not just to change the life of dogs, but we all love, we all care, we all depend. But I think we're doing an incredible job of making this planet better. So
I would agree.
I hope you guys feel super proud of yourself. I can't thank you enough. And let's change the world one more time. I want to say I'm very proud, as a guy that comes from a different land and then comes into America and then gets his own land and then invites people from a different part of the world so they can be part of my dream. And the flags that people see in the back is countries that have come. More than 20-something countries have come to the ranch.
They've been moved.
Yeah,
you moved them. You moved the flags. Weren't they over on the other road? That's now surrounding the paddocks, isn't it? Weren't the flags over on that little side road, JoJo? Yeah. And now he surrounds the paddocks.
But now we put it right here in the Olympic track.
Oh, cool.
As soon as you enter and you see like all the whole world, because I'm thinking like, let's bring the whole world to the DPC so they can see. This is possible by an immigrant that wants to better the world through America as my platform, and then the rest of the world. But I think I think when people come here and they see, not only hear the story and they know a little bit about it, they want to take it home. They want to take this concept home. Dog psychology should be all over the world. Right? It's so they come and see it, how we set it up, the people, the philosophy. I think the whole world should have his own dog psychology center. They can call it whatever they want, but this is the blueprint, and I'm very happy to do it with all of you. I'm very happy that you guys stick with me all this time. I'm super grateful. I couldn't do it without you. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment, and join me on my mission of better humans, better planet.